Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show, where business, as usual, gets a swift kick in the ass. If you're tired of the same old advice and ready to disrupt the status quo, you're in the right place. I'm cutting through the noise with bold strategies, unfiltered truths, and a no-nonsense approach to entrepreneurship, video marketing, and content creation. Buckle up, because it's time to level up, stand out, and dominate your market. This isn't just another podcast, it's a wake-up call for entrepreneurs and would-be aspiring solopreneurs who are all in. Let's get started. Let me say this nice and loud so it sinks in. Your obsession with perfection is the reason that no one's maybe seeing your content. Maybe you're tweaking, editing, re-recording, doubting. Maybe you're sitting on footage for a long time because it's just not right. Meanwhile, someone half as talented as you is showing up imperfectly and winning. Because in business, speed beats perfect every day of the week. Flawless is destroying your brand, your momentum, and your bank account. Let's start with a personal story and then I'll get into some examples that I've seen recently. Perfection used to paralyze me. Back when I first started putting myself out on camera, I overanalyzed everything. Retakes upon retakes. Cutting every or breath. Refusing to post unless I had the right lighting. My delivery was a 10 out of 10 perfect. I'd film, say, 10 videos, post none. I was convinced that my content had to look perfect or no one would take me seriously. And guess what? No one took me seriously because no one actually saw me. While I was, polishing everything up, trying to make everything look great, others were showing up raw, messy, and real. I would see them post on LinkedIn on the time. I'm thinking, how the fuck is this person getting any business credibility because their content looks like crap? And then I realized people don't care about some of the details that I was stressing over. These people weren't better than me. They were just visible. Perfection is just procrastination. Maybe wearing makeup. It's fear pretending to be high standards. When I finally said, fuck it, and started posting imperfect videos, that's when I felt a change happened. That's when people started messaging me. That's when money started to roll in. Not from perfect content, but from honest content. Today I was recording with somebody who I recorded with a year ago. It's been some time since we recorded and kind of reconnected here to record some more content. And I said to them, I recorded with you a year ago. How's business? And they said, yeah, we recorded the content, but we didn't post any of it. They didn't want to pay for me to do it. So they said they'd post it themselves, but they never brought themselves to it. And I said, well, what's holding you back? So we're looking, at the content and, we don't like the way our hair looks in some of the videos. And, it was a bit of a glare for a couple seconds in this one video and just minor little things. And I said, do you think other people are going to care? And like, well, probably not. We're more critical of ourselves. And I'm like, well, you've now had content for a year that you've not posted that you could have got some more business from. Because they said business itself was, kind of a little off at the moment. And I said, well, you haven't been posting any content. You've kind of been invisible online, so people don't know you exist. Maybe you should use the content that we gave you. And like, yeah, you know what? You're probably right. We overthought everything. See, I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks of why I don't like to let people just post content themselves, because sometimes they're too critical. If I'm posting for them, it's out there. Nothing you can do about it. It is out there. Perfectionism kills your brand. Again, to use these people as an example, it delays their progress. In my case, every week that I was tweaking, the audience didn't know that I existed. And people who were maybe offering the same or similar things to me were gaining business, but I wasn't. Perfect content that never gets posted does nothing for your business. Messy content that hits well, that builds momentum. You see, when you are perfect or are striving to be perfect, it also might make you unrelatable. People don't relate to perfection. They relate to humans. The flaws, the mistakes, the stumbles. That's what builds trust. The more perfect you try to be, the more disconnected you come from your audience. So I launched my podcast here, The Chris Hanna Show, back in 2018. If you go back and you listen to some of those early episodes, you might not hear things like me breathing. You might not hear certain background noises because I would spend hours and hours trying to remove every sound that was there to make it absolutely crystal clear, perfect. And then I realized over time, that doesn't matter. Perfect isn't something that I should be chasing. You got to look at the ROI of doing it. Now, on certain types of content, yes, I might want to go for more of a 100% polished look and feel, but my podcast, what I'm recording here now, I add an intro, I have an outro, and I'm recording it. I might do some, deleting of some sections as I'm recording it to like clean up stuff that doesn't make sense or where I trip over and I stumble on words, but I don't take all the breaths out. You tell me, maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't, but to me, I'm like, it's not worth the ROI and the effort to spend doing that. I'll record an episode that's maybe 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes long, and then edit and upload it. And I'm batch recording these, so, maybe I'm recording 10 episodes today. I'm not trying to be perfect. I think when you are focusing on being perfect, though, you might overthink things. The clients I was recording with today, they 100% overthought things. Like the longer that you sit with your content and the more your brain starts convincing you, well, maybe it's not good enough. Maybe you look tired or you don't like the way your neck is, or maybe you sound dumb or something's out of place. That's just insecurity and it's getting louder and louder. The fix? Post it. Move on. Keep creating. I think you got to find a way to post consistently without honestly losing your mind. Because time to beat perfection at its own game is now. Like, maybe you got to set like a 48-hour rule. Maybe from the time that you record, you have 48 hours to edit and post it or schedule it or whatever. It's not perfect, doesn't matter. Post it, learn it from it, and move forward. Speed is now the flex. It's not about polish. Or the other thing you can probably do is focus on the message. And I'm going to say not the makeup. Okay, I'll give you an example here. I recorded with somebody a few months back. Probably someone I should never have recorded with, but whatever. They didn't like any of the videos that we recorded because they didn't like the way that they looked. They didn't like a bit of their makeup. They didn't like their hair, their outfits, all cosmetic things about themselves. They said the message and everything was great. They just didn't like the way that they look on camera. They're uncomfortable with it. And I said, I think your videos will do well. They refused to release them because, again, they're focusing on stuff that doesn't really matter. The message is awesome, but I think you have to stop obsessing over things that don't make a difference. Right? Like, in my world, I'm trying to take all of the gear, the lighting, the background out of the equation for people so they can focus on their message. That's why I love the idea of a studio that people can come to, or I have all the equipment that I can bring to them. They just got to start obsessing over one thing, and it's the value and the impact. People don't follow you for production or how you look necessarily. Maybe in some cases they do. They follow you more often than not for your perspective. The other thing I'll say to get past this perfectionism is to batch. Don't babysit. This is why I film content in batches, so I don't have to overthink every single video. I can easily say, in a half-day session, we're doing, say, 40 to 50 videos with somebody in a single half day. That forces speed, it kills perfectionism, and that's how real content machines ultimately get built for the businesses that I help support. If you are finding yourself stuck in a perfection loop, it's costing you. I think it's costing you visibility. It's costing you leads. It's costing you time, energy. And probably the right decision for you is to batch record content. Again, at All In Content, we can help you because this is what we do. Literally, business owners record months of content in just 4 hours. We're going to edit, caption, and schedule it. You show up once, and then you let your content work for you like a 24/7 sales rep. You can learn more at allincontent.ca, and we're happy to kind of contact you and share, again, our playbook and what we would do for you. At the end of the day, when it comes to your content, though, you don't need more tweaks. You just need to post a video. Perfection is killing your visibility, your self-worth, and your revenue. You got to let go. Be bold. Even if it's messy, just be consistent. Because done is better than perfect. Showing up imperfectly is better than not showing up at all. All right, that's a wrap for today's dose of reality on the Chris Hanna Show. If you're fired up and ready to kick some serious ass, then I've done my job. But remember, knowledge without action is just wasted breath. So what are you going to do? Sit around and let opportunities pass you by? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? The choice is yours, but don't expect sympathy if you choose the easy road. If you've got value from today's episode, smash that subscribe button, leave a review, or share it with somebody who needs a wake-up call. Don't keep this gold to yourself unless you're afraid of a little competition. Stay bold, stay hungry, and remember, always go all in. Until next time, this is Chris Hanna signing off. Now go out there and take what's yours.